hairstylist. So today we're going to be looking at using some freehand clipper work on hair classification 3C4A. My model has high density hair. There's a lot of it, and we like to keep it long, but we just need to tidy it up. Normally we'll have the hair in braids or in twists. We don't really wear it out. So it's just really to get the ends off and just make it nice and fresh again. So I have used a pick just to pick the hair out. So when you're dealing with your hair classifications 3 and 4, you kind of are going to be working more with a free hand. You're going to be working with the hair in its natural fall being picked out, and you're also not going to be having any tension. If I went in with clean sections, so taking horizontal lines and high tension on the hair, we're actually going to end up making the hair quite short. That's not how it naturally is. You've got to remember the hair curls around. So as the hair is becoming curly, and if we take too much length on it, it's going to shrink right down when it's dry. So we have to be a little bit aware of that. So I'm going to be working with a clipper work today. I'm going to be using my little clippers, and I'm literally going to be going around the outline of the hair. I'm just going to be taking the ends off. The one thing that you will find that when you cut hair classifications for A, 3C hair, that when it's picked out, you can constantly pick it out, and you'll always find that little bit. So pick the hair out as much as you can. So I did this before, and I've just gone over a little bit now, just as you saw. So we're going to be starting with the clippers. I'm literally going to be using my mini clippers. The reason I'm using my mini clippers is because I have a little bit more control with these than using my larger clippers with no guard. So I'm going to start really around this top area here, and I'm literally just going to be taking a small amount off just to take that see-through part of hair that you can see right now, just to make it stronger. So I'm going to be working at the top first. I'm going to work forward, and then I'll work back with this haircut just so you can see it. Okay, so here we go. So always make sure that your client has got a good posture. So my client is sitting on the chair, his feet are directly on the floor, and there is no cross legs. So we're going to start at the back, so around that radial section here, and I'm going to put my clipper in, and we're literally going straight across, so straight down. And you will see that it's just going to take off those ends for you. Okay, afterwards we are going to go through using the our scissors just to define the hair. So this, you really need to look constantly in your mirror. I have a mirror behind the camera so I can see what I'm doing, and you are literally going in small movements, making sure you've got nice control, and we're just taking those ends off the hair. Okay, so I've literally done this section here, and now I'm going to go onto the opposite side, and then I'll show you how to curve it around. Because I know how my model wears the hair, I do his hair for him on a weekly basis, either braiding it or either twisting it. I know that I'm going to go slightly with a rounded finish. I'm not doing a flat top here, so I'm not working on a square shape. I'm going to be working on a rounded shape just because of what we normally do to the hair itself. Okay, so it is a very visual thing. You do need to always look in the mirror just to make sure that you've got that visual balance. Okay, as I say, you can't really measure this. So you can see now I've got a nice even flat base here, and I'm going to start on working on the side, and I'm just going to come around, curving this around just as it's doing now. So what I'm going to do is come up from my corner, and I'm just going to come down. Okay, just taking off the hair. So you can see now we're getting more of that rounded shape coming in, okay? So do make sure you are using your mirror. It's very vital. I know you hear us tell you constantly use your mirror, and I know it's always a little bit awkward when you're first cutting hair and starting to use a mirror, but when you're cutting a shape like this using your clippers, your mirror is really important. So I'm just going to come upwards now, just to make sure we're taking all of those little parts off, just to give us that shape. So always make sure you've got good control of your clippers. Don't be waving your clippers around. Make sure that you are holding them and holding your wire if you do not have cordless clippers, like I haven't got here. So I'm just going to cut the outside, taking from the perimeter, taking that around and just curving in around the corner and the outline. Okay, so what you can see now is I've just created a nice rounded shape on my client's hair. So I'm gonna just lift that up and just make sure it's nice and rounded. So I can see I've got a small blue bit here, so I'm just gonna look where that is, and I'm just gonna take that off. So do remember, this is very visual, okay? Because of the hair texture itself, it's hard to cross-check it like we normally would. So it's a very visual look. So what you can see now is that we've got that rounded shape coming in nice and even. So if you look at the difference of this side compared to this side that hasn't been cut, it's much more even. We've taken all the ends off and we've got that nice rounded shape going, okay? So what we need to do now is repeat this, but on the opposite side, and then we'll go into the back. So literally just the same as that we were doing, making sure you're using your mirror, and you're just taking those ends off and around the corner. If your wire isn't as long enough as mine is, please make sure you're holding it. You definitely shouldn't be working with your wire in front of your client's face. So after every bit you do, make sure you come back and you look in your mirror. So you can see now we just need to work with this part, getting that more even. So you can either come downwards or upwards depending on your control. So I'm going to come down just because then I can create the shape. And then I'm going to be checking in my mirror that I've got it. So you can see here is a little bit lumpy. So I'm just going to come back in and just take those ends off. And now we can start seeing the shape that we require being formed in the hair. Okay. So freehand with your clippers is a really lovely way to do a nice rounded shape on hair classification 3C, 4A, 4B and 4C as well, just because you get a nice more the even look that we're wanting. So I'm just going to do the same on the back of the hair. I'm literally using my clippers in a downward motion, following the shape that I've already created. So remember, this is all very visual balance, okay? If you can see one side is slightly longer than the other, then you'll need to come back around and just go over with your clippers. The one thing with this haircut on this hair classification. Every time you pick it out, there's always going to be something. So get it as perfect as you can on the first time. That's why it's really important to pick the hair out as much as you can on your first go. Okay. So all I'm going to do is just remove some of the hair that probably hasn't fallen off once we've cut it. Okay. Just making sure all of that loose. And then I'm just going to use my pick just gently just to create the shape. So I know my client has quite a sensitive scalp, so I don't want to put too much pressure in my on my pick when I'm picking through. So all we're doing now is just making sure that we've got that shape. I can see here that there's a few bits that are out of my shape, yeah, so you can probably see that, but this side is looking good. So what I'm going to do is on this side is show you how to use freehand with scissors just to get this corner off and keep our rounded shape. And then I will just tidy up the neckline with the mini clippers and just around this hairline here because there's a little bit of regrowth there. So literally I'm just going to be working on this side. So you are going to be using freehand with your scissors. With your scissors that you're using, I would recommend on this to be using a longer blade. So anything from 5.5, 6 to 7 inches when you do your freehand technique. So it's really important that when you use your freehand technique, you're literally just using that inside of your thumb to move that bottom part. You're not chomping, okay? So it's literally holding and that bottom part is just moving, okay? It's a very quick technique, and all I'm going to do is just take this corner off just here, okay? So I'm going to make sure that I've got control of my scissors. I always like to put my finger just underneath the connection of my scissors, and all it does, it just helps me to connect. So all I'm doing is working in a fast movement around, and I'm using the full ends of my blade, and I'm literally just removing any part that I feel like needs to come out. That's just what's the word that I'm looking for? That's distorting the shape. For people that know me, that's quite a big word for me to just use that. So if I just turn my handle around. It's a very personalised cut when you do it with this, to be honest with you. Because you're not really put into your set guideline in. It's literally a freehand technique, and it's all very visual just to make sure we've got that nice shape. So as I've said previous, my client doesn't wear his hair out. His hair will always be in braids or it will be in twists. He doesn't like the hair in his face, but he likes having long hair and he doesn't want to deal with it. Hence why I do it for him every week. So what we're going to look at now is that I have used the clippers. I can just see there's a small dip just there. I don't know if you can see that. So with that, what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to get my pick out and I'm just going to open the hair back up, because it could be where my client's hair is a little bit more finer towards the front of the hair. Don't get me wrong, he still has a lot of hair, but there is areas around the front that he's more finer. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure the shape is nice and even. I'm just going to push this hair up. As I say, he never really wears it natural, but you still want to try and make sure that it's nice and balanced. Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up the hairline here. So I'm just going to clip the hair out of the way, just because obviously there is a lot of hair, just so I can get the clippers in. So what you can see is we've already got the shape up just here, but where we've got the widow's peak just at the beginning, we can, if you could feel it, you'll be able to feel that there's some hair growing. So I'm just going to make that a little bit stronger using my clippers, okay? So if I just have my client's hair coming down, and I'm literally just going to comb the hair just around the front downwards. The reason why I'm just pulling that down there is just to make sure if any little hairs that are coming up, because obviously we've got curly hair, just to make sure we're catching everything. So what I'm going to do is use the little clippers. I'm going to try and do this without standing in front. So what I like to do is I like to have one of my fingers on either the client or on the client like this, just to give me control, okay? So I'm going to try and do this so you can see. I'm hoping you can still see this. I'm going to come straight in and down. So I'm following the hairline, but I'm just removing all of the little bits, the little new hairs growing through. Obviously, if you were a barber, you would be using a cutthroat around here. Not my strongest point, so I'm not going to be doing it. That's why I let the barbers do it. This is hair. So I literally keep one of my fingers on the client's skin, and then I hold and come straight down. So it's all in one movement, okay? I'm not doing little ones. I'm literally coming into the skin and coming straight down with it. Yeah, just to make sure I'm getting all those little hairs out. And as a hairstylist, we still need to tidy up the hairline and obviously the shape up around the face. So I'm just going to do the same on the back. So I'm just going with the natural hair growth here and just removing the new hairs that have grown in. So let me take that out. So normally we would either have the hair, we would bring it straight back, which I really like in a ponytail. So now we can see we've got a nice even ponytail at the back. It looks much more healthier rather than really bitty like it was before. If he did want to wear it out, which I'm pretty sure he won't, I'd be very surprised if he does. He can do as well, but now we can either braid his hair or twist his hair. So I'm going to be braiding or twisting his hair, we haven't quite decided yet, in another video. But again, that's my video on how to use freehand clippers to take the ends off. And now I'm just recreating my shape just to make sure I've got it nice and even. Lovely. Hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.